show. Now, I like women who are clever, funny, and who can seal a good heart with a sharp tongue. Every box ticked, it's Jo Brand.
Hello.
Is that a fair comment?
Yes, very fair.
And two other women who fit that bill and are joining me later to discuss bikinis and dilemmas are Jan Ravens.
Yes, indeed. I think bikinis are a dilemma in themselves.
You're telling me. And Maria McCurlane.
So, Nigella, today I haven't got my bikini body with me, but I have got it at home, so we can be checking that out later, I think.
Glad to hear it. And welcome to all of you. Now, Jo, do you find cooking a necessary evil, or do you quite enjoy it?
I don't like it, no.
Any form of it?
No.
OK, well then, in which case, you will thank me, I hope, afterwards. I hope I'm not being presumptuous, because I'm going to make something which requires no cooking.
Well, that's good, but it looks suspiciously healthy.
Well, it's not that healthy. It depends how much you eat of it, actually.
OK.
OK, so I'm not anti-healthy food as long as it tastes nice.
Right.
So, and what it is, you might have guessed by some of the bits lying about here.
A bowl of watermelon.
It's a watermelon and feta salad. And I know that sounds really weird and horrible. I know that, and I felt frightened because of your caustic tongue.
I won't be
caustic. It does sound odd, but I'm going to tell you the thing about this salad is that actually it comes from the Eastern Mediterranean, where it's very, very hot. And there it's very normal. I suppose what's normal for one culture sounds strange to another. So if it's very hot, you do need things which are salty, which you've got the feta, and which have a lot of water, and also are sweet, which is the watermelon. So they have
eat
that
the feta and rub that over your face.
No, you have to lubricate from within, Jo.
Oh, lubricate from within.
Are you happy to do
would like
that?
to know how that works.
You can show him tonight.
I will indeed, or perhaps you could.
So I'm going to start off. There's the watermelon.
Right.
That you can deal with that.
Chopping up a watermelon.
Oh.
Yes, I could probably cope with that.
Feta, which I'm going to chop up too. That's just, you know, regular sheep's milk cheese from the supermarket. Very long shelf life, so you can keep it in the fridge for a long time.
Jolly good.
Parsley. Mint.
Mm-hmm.
I love mint. I adore mint. Olive oil. Now, I've got quite a bit there, but I won't use all of it because I think
Any
there's
cream
something...
or chocolate coming up?
It's coming up later.
Good,
but only
good.
if you're a good girl now. What were you told when you were younger? You see, you have to eat your main course first.
No, unfortunately, my parents never said that. That's why I'm the size. So have your pudding first. If you're a good girl, you can have your dinner. So.
Well, I'm sorry then. I'm sorry. You have to wait. You don't mind?
Not at all, no.
OK, some olives.
Right.
OK, I'm going to start by cutting this. And actually, what I'm going to show first, I'm going to show you one of my magic tricks. Not really very good, but see this onion?
Yeah.
What you do is you put onions into a bowl, very finely chopped. You pour over some lime juice, like this, and then you leave it for a long time.
How long?
Would do about 2 hours.
Right.
Half an hour will do, but 2 hours is fantastic. And by the miracle that is television, this is what they look like afterwards. Now, the thing about that, can you see, I'm going to put these down here, that not only is the liquid pink,
Yeah.
and these look rather sort of beautifully luminescent, but all that horrible, acrid, afterburn taste of onion goes away. There's something about the acid that does that to an onion, so you can have it in salad and not burp all afternoon.
It's a shame.
I'm thinking of you.
That's one of my hobbies, burping all afternoon.
Well, I'll tell you what, you can have yours with that one.
OK.
OK, I'm just going to cut this in a rather quick and clumsy way. I'm going to give you something to chop in a minute,
But
I
you see,
think.
you're not quick and clumsy. Everything you do oozes sex. You know that, don't you?
No, don't say that. I find that embarrassing.
Do you?
Yeah, I do, actually.
Well, I want to learn how to do it. Because, I mean, is it just a question of chopping things up and going...
On.
Is it that? So I'm not picking on you.
No.
It's just, I think it's probably that you're much more attractive than I am, and that's the problem.
Could you not be deflecting from your task?
OK. What is my task?
Your task, should you choose to accept it,
yes.
I am reliant on that, is if I put some mint on this board, will you chop it? You don't have to. I'm not that bossy.
Right.
I'm going to show you how to do it without cutting yourself.
Because I don't know how to, actually.
OK.
Right.
OK, hand around each. Oh, this. I'm going to put the parsley
This looks quite useful for naughty husbands as well, isn't it?
Men always cross their legs when they see that.
Yes, I bet they do, because it's very sharp. Yes.
Yes. OK, just go like that. Yes. And it'll chop.
Is that in an attractive enough way, though?
You look frisky.
Do I?
Yeah,
I'm quite frisky.
I know.
For a fat bird. But I'm not getting much done there.
No, I know. That's because you were concentrating on your appearance.
I know.
That's fine.
Is that all right?
That's fine. OK, so that goes in, and I'm going to put the parsley without bothering to chop it because I want this to be a bit like a salad leaf. It's not just laziness, so that's... you need to be a bit stronger than me. That's OK.
That looks like too much to me.
I know, because we're using this like a salad leaf, so
Right.
we're...
Is it nice enough, though?
I think it's delicious, and very, very high in vitamin C and iron.
Oh, yum.
That's nice, I like it. Do you like it?
Yeah.
I knew you'd come round.
I like those, though.
Oh, we'll have some of these now.
OK, thank you.
There we are, some of these. Teeny bit of oil, not too much. OK, I'm going to do a bit of tossing of the salad.
What are those things called?
I don't know. I don't know if they have a name.
False hands. I'd quite like one of those to smack the children with. It looks a bit...
Well, I'll give you some.
Thank you. Oh, it's good here, isn't
Look,
it?
can you see pink coming out? I find
can,
for
that
some
looks fantastic.
idiotic reason that pleases me. I think it's very useful in life if you can take pleasure from such small things.
So do I. I think it's brilliant. I wish I could. I'm trying to make it please
true,
me.
It does,
Yeah,
yes,
no,
it does help. If you want, I'm just going to wait a minute because I haven't done your feta bits yet because I was going to put this on like. OK, going to chop a bit of this up.
So I
Just
thought you
stick
might
it
do
in.
me a nice pudding.
I am
really.
doing you a pudding.
Oh, okay.
I've told you, I really am.
How many calories is this?
I'm so glad to say I do not know.
No, you're good
There
like
was
that.
a time when, you know, when I was 14, when I actually did know things like that, and I just don't know. And I think, in a way, I like eating things regardless of whether they're fattening or not. So I don't want to think, I don't want to eat that because it's a salad, any more than I think, oh, I mustn't eat that, it's a chocolate pudding. I want it all.
Me too.
OK, look, you see, I'm a bit frightened.
That looks very nice,
But it does,
actually.
you know, it's very nice at this time of year for, you know, supper or something. You don't need a recipe to make most things you want to eat. You know, it doesn't matter, you know, in a recipe you feel obliged to say, you know, this bit, eat what I'm
Shall I
talking to you.
eat
Just,
it?
you don't, I don't need rapt silence while I talk. Can babble on regardless.
Might just bypass all the healthy
Well,
things.
try it with the watermelon. I want you to try it with the
All right, I
watermelon just
will.
in case.
It's lovely.
They do go well together, funnily enough. I feel so. Anyway, you don't have to agree.
Well, they do. Ish.
You don't have to eat it all at once.
No, I like the dressing's great, actually, because I can taste the
Whatever.
whatever. Lime.
Yes,
Yeah.
lime and onion. Now, Joe, I want to ask you something. My salad things, so you said a very good weapon for hitting children. I want to know, are you a strict mother? Because I bet you're not.
I am quite strict, actually, yeah.
Will you tell me how to be strict, then?
I
long
will.
to be.
You just hit them very hard. No, I'm joking. Well, I think it's a question of kind of limits, really, because you just mustn't let it get out of hand. If you let them run around for years being bonkers, if you set limits at the beginning by threatening them and wearing scary masks.
And how old are yours now?
They're 4 and 2.5.
Oh, God, that's such a nice age. I know everyone says that all the time, but make the most of it, because when they develop into real people who don't just adore you, then it's too late.
I think they're pretty vile already. So, obviously, I've got the wrong type. No, they're not. They're lovely.
But only because whenever I've heard about your childhood, it seems to be quite austere. And I wondered, I think often people who've been brought up quite strictly try and do everything they didn't have, so are more indulgent, more loving in every way.
That's true. I think you do kind of react against your upbringing. It wasn't austere, it was just very strict, really.
Yeah.
There was a lot of telly that I wasn't allowed to watch, and I wasn't allowed to say rude words. Hey, look what's happened.
Yeah.
So, with mine, I thought I'm not going to go completely the other way and be a kind of liberal parent, because then they'll both sort of join the BNP when they're grown up. So I'm just trying very hard to be balanced with them.
But in a way, don't you think, I find that when I started off, I I was using the Gandhi model of parenting, and I wanted to be nice and understanding. And then I feel now I'm more on the general Pinochet level, because you start off, because actually it doesn't work always being nice and understanding. And all the things I remember hating, being sent to bed at 6:30, not, as you say, not watching TV, never answering back. I suddenly think, oh, well, they had a point.
Yeah, I think there's a path in between Gandhi and Pinochet, like a sort of benign Margaret Thatcher, really.
Is that who you are now?
Not the Margaret Thatcher bit.
Maybe.
Not benign either, actually. No, I don't really know what I am. You'd have to ask them, but they don't cry very often when I walk into the room, so I think I'm probably all right.
And what I don't know quite is you're almost on the Stephen Fry level of sort of busyness, that on top of everything else you do, you have just written a novel. And how do you do that with children that age, apart from just total neglect, obviously?
Well, it's at the expense of my mental health, really. So much of the time I'm lying in the corner, soaked with urine, crying. But, you know, that's as good a model as any for my children, I think.
Though maybe you're just copying them.
That's right, they think it's very good fun. Well, I write at night when they're asleep.
Yeah.
I just bang my head on my laptop keyboard for 2 hours and something comes out most of the time.
But do you like being frightened? Because I tell you what I was thinking about, because you do quite a lot of things. Maybe it's just that what you find unfrightening, I find terrifying. But you've done things that I would think you really have to psych yourself up for, like that Trinny and Susanna thing, the what not to wear. I mean, you know, and actually have been asked and said, are you out of your head? It would be too frightening. But
yeah, well, I knew what Trinny and Susanna were going to say to me. I could have kind of written the script before I got there, you know. And all you have to do with Trinny is go like that, and she starts crying.
But it was great. It was great TV. Did you really hate every minute of it?
No, I enjoyed it.
You know, but
I didn't particularly like my bosoms being jiggled up and down like a hockey mistress would do. But you know, I put up with that for the sake of.
Yeah.
I just wanted to do it because I kind of felt your average person that goes on it is not armed with the kind of skills of a stand-up comic of 20 years standing. And basically, I just wanted to have a go at them. That's why I did
There's
it.
something a bit, I would have thought, masochistic about going on a programme and when the programme's sole purpose is to say, why are you wearing that and why are you looking like that?
If you think Trinny and Susanna's masochistic, you should try doing the Late Show at the Comedy Store on a Friday night. That is true masochism.
Yeah, but that's your career, just doing things that are terrifying. Was the spelling bee good, though? Was that frightening?
The spelling bee was very good fun.
You were so good at that.
I don't know what happened there. It must have been all the drink I had in the green room. But what was best about that was, I don't know if you saw it, but it was a spelling competition, and we had Dick and Dom, who were two sort of children's TV entertainers, and there were people on it like Richard Whiteley, bless his soul, and Penny, what's her name, from GMTV. Anyway, Dick and Dom spelt their first round of 10 words, and they got 1 out of 10, and they were disqualified in the first round. And a friend of mine was sitting in the green room, and they both came in and they said, it's not fair, this programme. They put us up against a load of intellectuals. Me and Penny Smith from GMTV, I don't think so.
I suppose people always fall into a category that if you work very hard, it's because you don't... It's a very trite thing to say, I know, but it's because you don't like the wide open spaces that are your own mind. So it's just like being busy. Is that fair or not fair?
The wide open spaces that are your own mind. Well, I think the reason that I work so hard is a combination of Protestant work ethic drummed into me by my parents, but also when you're self-employed, you always fear that in a week's time the work's not going to be there, so you find yourself saying yes to everything just in case it all goes away.
But so, like, it's kind of holiday time coming up. If you go on holiday...
I've got a job in a factory for the summer.
Actually, do you know, that would be curiously... It was more relaxing
Would you like to
taking...
do that?
No, well, but I'd rather it than going on holiday with a 2-year-old and 4-year-old and having to be bright and breezy every morning.
Down the sausage factory tomorrow, I'll put a word in for you.
This is, in many ways, my worst time of year, because I have to think about what to wear by the pool. I've now got it sorted. I never, ever wear a bikini. But I'm thinking of you, And I wanted us to ask, does a good bikini have to be expensive? Can you look just as good in a cheaper one? And can you even tell the difference? Now, the first bikini that I am modelling with the help of my friend here, this is bikini A. Now, what do we think about this one? I'm finding...
I think she's gone to rather sort of odd extremes to lose weight, that woman.
Does it look like if I...
I think cutting your arms and legs off is going a bit far.
Yeah. I'm slightly worried about that dangly bit at the front of her crotch.
Yeah,
I think that's
quite
going to get very
heavy.
hot.
I think, you know, if you went in the water in this and swam, you would lose your bottoms.
It's not really meant
You can
for
take
swimming
this
in,
off.
is it?
You can take this off and wear it as a necklace, so you could be wearing... If I were one thin, two tall, and three brown skinned,
yeah.
I would think this would look quite nice. What do you think? I think it's probably quite expensive because
I think the
it's
more
a bit heavy.
paraphernalia you have on a costume, the more expensive it's going to be.
Okay, so I think this is going to be...
Is it possible that hangy, offy stuff equates with expense, then?
Well, I think so, because it was heavy.
It's so tasteless.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we do know that there isn't...
That rich
there isn't really,
equals
there
tasteless.
isn't much correlation between the expense and taste. I'm going for £70, do you think?
I'm going to go higher.
I'll go 150.
I'll go 100.
I'll go much lower. a quid.
Okay, we're going to have a look. Oh, my goodness me. Well, it is Heidi Klein, £139. That's a lot for a bikini.
Was that you?
Yeah, I said 100.
Sorry,
Didn't I?
you are very good. Joe, would you like to
Yes, put this
demonstrate
on.
yours?
Okay.
And
Yeah.
here, I put someone in.
Well, underwiring.
Underwiring.
Useful.
Some nice sort of copper flowers on it.
Is it okay as a bikini? What do you think?
I've never worn a bikini in my life, so I don't know. Yes.
You can have a view.
sort of-
I've never worn many things I have a view about.
No, I suppose so. All right. I have a view. It's horrid.
Okay. I think, anyway, I think it's cost less than this.
I
Higher or
do,
lower?
yes.
I think lower than that. Lower than what... That was 139, wasn't
Yes.
it? Yeah, lower than that.
Lower.
70 quid.
20
Jan.
quid.
20 quid.
Okay.
I'll go for a quid again. There you are. It's £30 from Monsoon. Please don't come round my house because I threw it away and said it was rubbish. But I don't really believe that.
They'll have you. They'll
Jan.
have you.
Ooh.
Well, I've got this rather nice bit of string here on my model, and I think actually you do need to be stick thin. This is barely a nipple coverage here that
But
we've
I
got.
think that's for lactating mothers because it's got a built-in breast pad.
Well, that's all it is, though, isn't it? A built-in breast pad.
Or
It's
maybe
a
it's
broderie
just-
anglaise
It's to
breast
show
pad.
off implants. That's a real...
Yeah,
to
you need
show
those
off
two sort of
implants.
doink things there,
Yes.
don't you? To show...
It's a bit carry-on as well because Sid James...
Oh, yes!
Sid James just has to come along and pull that string.
Yeah.
I don't know. I quite like it because I've got a soft spot for those sorts of bikinis because I remember distinctly my mother in the early 70s wearing crocheted bikinis.
Which always bagged in the water, didn't they?
She never went into the water.
No, you see, that's it. You wouldn't go in the water in that, really. That's not for swimming in.
No.
You're not going to do a Sharon Davis in
No,
that,
but I
are you?
think it may be... I think it's higher than that
I think
Monsoon
this
one there.
indicates that it's quite high, although I would be wanting more quality in the cover-up department in this area if I were to purchase this bikini.
OK, but we're saying higher, though, are we?
Higher than Joe's bikini,
OK.
yes.
Higher than 30,
Higher than 35,
lower than...
30.
150.
I'm going to go for... I'm going to say it's about 170.
I'm going to say 220.
I say £4,000.
La Perla, 250.
Oh, my God, that's outrageous.
Now,
250.
Maria, we're on
Yes.
to you, and I think I can say absolutely that I have seen you in many bikinis and you look stunning in every one of them. You are a real bikini girl,
No,
so
I'm
I
not
feel you're the best
They do
person
say you're
here.
not allowed to wear a bikini over 40, but I feel... Who says that you're not allowed to?
I don't know why you brought that up.
Well, because, you know, people say, the fashionistas say...
Oh, I don't care, but
over
fashion
40.
people know nothing.
But anyway...
You look lovely. Look at those bosoms.
This
Who
is what
wouldn't?
I've got here. I've got orange, which is a very difficult colour to wear, unless you've got very, very dark skin. Now, this is all quite nice
What
going
about
on.
if you're Judith Chalmers and it matches?
And you don't know where Judith stops and the bikini begins.
People think you're naked. This isn't the nude beach, Judith.
I think we should say send this to Judith Chalmers and see if she gets the joke. But this has got a very heavily jewelled sort of punani area there.
You see, it'll make Jan happy because she won't worry about the cover-up.
I won't. I'll be very happy.
But I think that's going to get very hot in the sun, frankly. I think this is
higher or lower, do you
quite
think,
expensive because it's all double bagged.
Okay.
It's got netting
Do you think it's more than 250?
Definitely.
Yes, I do.
Do you really think that?
I think it's probably the cost of a small country in Africa.
Well,
I think it's 175 or something.
I'm going for 90.
I'm going for £400.
I'm going for 250 pesetas.
Okay.
OK, and here it is.
Oh, my goodness.
£365.
Now, I don't know
That's
which one my
working.
favourite is. Which one is your favourite otherwise, do you think?
I quite like Joe's, actually, because it's only 30 quid, and they'd go mouldy after one summer anyway, so...
So finally, I'm in the kitchen and happy to be here, particularly since I have had a request for chocolate. And what I've got here is my No Worries chocolate mousse, and I call it that mainly because an Australian friend gave me the idea for it, and also because it's very, very easy. You've got chocolate, you've got some butter, and got marshmallows. And it's these marshmallows that make the difference, because it means you don't have to do any whisking of eggs. It's very, very simple. So you just get a pan, and also normally you have a double boiler for melting chocolate. I don't bother with that. I put chocolate straight into a pan, and then I put butter in it, and it's the butter which, one, makes the chocolate mousse taste rather fudgy, which is good, and also it makes a slight liquid, which means you don't need to do all that double boiler nonsense. And then the marshmallows, what I do, because they're quite big and so they don't take too long to melt and the chocolate seizes, I snip them in half. But you probably would be able to find those mini marshmallows in the supermarket, just that these are what I had. So I'm just going to put them all in, and then a final bit of liquid, just a bit of hot water from a kettle. You could add rum, actually, or coffee if you want it stronger, but I think this is what works. And then, so you just let these melt, stirring every now and then, which I have done. And there you are. You see, it's just really, at this stage, like a chocolate sauce, rather thick chocolate sauce, or like something you might put on a cake. And then, to that, you've got some cream. This is whipped fairly thick, but not too stiff. Bit of vanilla, spraying myself as I go, and it has to be real vanilla, I think. You can get that pretty easily now. There's some vanilla which isn't just artificial. And I know that a lot of people say go slowly. I don't think you need to. Just very much put the cream into the chocolate and stir it. You've got to be quite patient, because that's why I always get chocolate over me. Just keep stirring. It's off the heat, so you're not actually cooking it now. Just stir the cream into the chocolate. See, I think you could eat it just like this. You don't need to set it. But in a minute, it'll all have oozed in together. And then just a bit of decanting. I think I've had enough of the stirring. So in it goes into a jug, just because otherwise it will just spill. Not that that matters. I've already done it in the jug. And then just fill up each dish. I've left some lumps of marshmallow in there and cream, but only because I think it will taste nice. And this goes in the fridge for about 4 hours, and then, of course, as you know, this is how it works on TV. I had some I made earlier.
We were salivating over there. Our tongues are hanging out.
Well, I did get a
joy.
request from Joe for chocolate, so I try and please. OK, here you are. And
Are they all mine?
Actually, you can have that jug in a minute. That.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed.
So it's quite good, the thing with no
show.
eggs, I thought. Anyway, I might have some. I don't normally just watch everyone else.
It's really solid.
I think often it's better if you take it out of the fridge a bit sooner, but it is quite nice like that. You want some with cream?
I'd quite like to have some with cream.
Is this what you had in
I don't
mind
think
when
it's
you wanted
fattening
chocolate
enough.
and cream?
That's what I had in mind. That's
Good, and I
right.
can leave that jug with you. Anyway, Joe, I want to say, before I have another mouthful, sorry, thank you very much, Joe.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. Thank you, Maria.
Thank
you,
you.
Jam. Thank you. See you soon. Bye-bye.